Hey guys, happy Tuesday. It's Mahoney here with another Tuesday tip. April and I are down working on a Tuesday night, and I wanted to take a moment to talk about a new topic that we've never discussed. So, typically, I am still trying to figure this thing out. Typically, I try to keep my topics pretty non-controversial. I talk about just talk about the law and talk about basic stuff. And I'm going to talk about the law tonight, but we're going to talk about something that might cause a little bit of controversy, and that is medical malpractice cases. So I probably have one of these cases come in my office a week, a potential medical malpractice case. And in most of the cases, a physician probably has made a mistake in some fashion or another. And we've only started even looking at these cases over the last 10 years. And in the last 10 years that we've been looking at them, we've taken 2 cases in 10 years. Why? Why are medical malpractice cases so difficult? And let's start out with a little bit of a history lesson. So, 1992, Bill Clinton is elected. And Hillary Clinton was going to fix health care. Do you remember when that whole thing happened? And America pretty much freaked out. And Newt Gingrich got elected. And the contract with America happened and all that stuff. And all you heard about at that point was that the problem with health care was because of lawsuits. It was frivolous lawsuits. If we got rid of all the frivolous lawsuits, then health care costs would go down. Well, nothing happened with healthcare on the national level, and nothing happened with the lawsuits on the level, but the laws did get dramatically impacted on the state level. And in fact, for many states, they made it pretty much impossible for there to be a medical malpractice case. And if you're in, the states where you can have a medical malpractice case are the blue states. It's New York, it's Illinois, it's California, it's Oregon, it's Washington. Those states, it is possible to have a medical malpractice case. But if you're in Wisconsin, Alabama, Arkansas, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Mississippi, those states, I mean, forget it. It's essentially against a hospital, maybe. But against a physician, it's got to be like intentional conduct. It's got to be what we call willful and wanton conduct. So it's almost got to be intentional. So now, think about it. When is the last time that you heard about a verdict, a large verdict against a physician anywhere, in particular in the state of Illinois? Can you even think of one? When's the last time you heard of one? You haven't. Because they don't exist. Those cases aren't hardly ever happening. And the laws got changed, so it became unbelievably difficult to ever sue a physician. And if you did sue a physician, it was going to cost you $250,000 to $500,000. So even in the situations, because you had to have all these experts to testify that the physicians were wrong, in fact, you got to have one of those experts sign an affidavit before you even file the lawsuit, and that's going to cost you $10,000. So even if a physician did mess up and breach the standard of care, which is what their level of liability is, you and I have a different level of liability. We have what does a reasonable person do? They have this specific standard of care. If the person that they messed up with isn't super injured, paralyzed, blind, dead, which, by the way, is when you work with other attorneys on these cases, the few that do them, those are their first 3 questions. Is the person blind, paralyzed, or dead? And if they're not, they're not interested in the case because they're not injured enough to justify the $250,000 to $500,000 that they're going to have to prosecute the case. So essentially, the lawyers are the checks and balances on people in society. When you get out of line, the lawyers come in, they sue you, they get you back in line. Accountability creates responsibility. And that's gone away with the physicians. They don't have a lot of accountability right now because they don't have liability. Well, I ask you, what's happened to costs? Have costs dropped as a result of the lack of lawsuits? Not at all. Costs have skyrocketed. Well, what's happened with care? What's care done in the last 10 to 15 years? Has it gone up? My experience is it's gone down. It's plummeted. What's happened to profits? They've gone up. So when people come in my office regarding medical malpractice cases, I have to have these conversations with them. And even in a situation where I look at it and I know that the doctor breached the standard of care and they got put through hell, they're not injured enough to justify a lawsuit. And I have to have these conversations with them. So, you know, society decides this stuff. And the laws are written by the people that we all vote for. So I guess I want everybody to understand that the law has gone one-sided in this area. Now, that's not true against a nursing home at all. That's not true against the hospital, the care that the hospital has to give you. That's true with regards to the physicians that operate within the hospital. And the hospital does a lot of other stuff. So like emergency room doctors, they'll try to make them independent contractors so that the hospital doesn't have any liability if they mess up. That's why they're all contract physicians. They do things like that. So we as a society decide that. You're the voters. You're the one that elects the people that goes downstate and writes the laws. So you can have an influence on this. If you think those laws are right and that the impact over the last 10 to 15 years have been good, then that's what you should write to your elected officials. If you disagree, if you think care has gone down and costs have gone up, then you can give a different message. Also, in the event that you're on a jury, you can give a message through a jury. But the point being is I want everybody to know these cases have become extremely difficult. And, you know, even in Illinois where you can have a case, it's still extremely, extremely difficult. In most of the states, it's almost impossible. So that's my Tuesday tip for tonight. Probably going to be a little controversial, but sometimes the truth is controversial. And I told you guys that I had a big announcement coming at the end of August. My announcement is that I've done my own personal YouTube channel, which I'm going to put up a link to. And you guys that know me know that I do all kinds of Tony Robbins stuff. And I study personal development, personal motivation, destiny technologies, as it's sometimes called. I don't just study Tony Robbins. I study all these guys. So I'm going to start doing, in addition to my Tuesday tip on my personal YouTube account, I'm going to do a Monday motivation. And that's going to start this coming Monday. I'll do something every Monday morning. There'll be a video waiting if you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And we're going to start out with the basics, and then we're going to work our way up to the advanced stuff. So I look forward to all of you hopefully tuning in for that. I'm excited about it. I love talking about that jazz, and I'm still going to continue with my Tuesday tips. And I hope everybody has a great evening. Thanks.